My name is Bernard Conlon, and this is the morning programme. And I'm joined by two local distinguished gentlemen. Jim Boylan, Chairman of the Narrow-Water Bridge Committee, and an associate and colleague of his on the committee, Dennis Brady. Good morning and welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning, Bernard. Thank you, Bernard. Just first of all, we're now known as the Narrow-Water Bridge Community Network.
Good to know that, Jim. Good to know that.
Changed our name slightly to move into the next phase of the campaign.
Well, the Narrow-Water Bridge campaign, again, I'm somebody that is a relative newcomer to Newry, but even when I've been based up in Belfast, I've heard a lot about this bridge across Carlingford Lough. It's a long history. Can you recap a little bit for me what the history of this bridge is and where it is and what the current situation is?
Yeah, basically the bridge will go down at Narrow-Water Keep between Warrenpoint and Omeath, and it was first muted around about 1976, and there was a couple of reincarnations, and this latest one has been going on, I think it's about 10 years I've been fortunate to work on it. And up until last year was a Louth County Council, Newry Mourne Council and East Border Region joint project. And on the last campaign we got £17 million from Europe, and the Irish government and the Stormont government paid the difference. But when the tenders went out, unfortunately there was an overrun of money, and we made a good bid to get that money, but that didn't happen.
Okay.
And it probably didn't happen because even though we had the will of the people, there seemed to be a lack of will in the politicians.
Okay.
But it's up and going again. This is a vital bit of infrastructure that is badly needed for both Down and Louth and South Armagh.
Okay. Yes, I was very aware, Dennis and Jim, that this bridge came very close to reaching its, signing off stage, and everything was almost ready, signed and ready to go. And there was this technical problem with the funding.
Yeah,
so you're reviving that. So
well, last year. We fell short, and to say we were disappointed would be putting it mildly. This community and this region was expecting it to be rubber stamped and shovel ready and ready to go, and we'd have hoped that we'd have seen the steel erectors down there by now. However, having said all that, Bernard, we're more determined than ever to get this project delivered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living in the area now about 34 years, and we've seen no infrastructural improvements down in our area at all.
And your area precisely is where?
Yes, well, we consider ourselves to be really Warrenpoint people.
Okay.
Living on the mouth of Carlingford Lough, which is one of the most beautiful areas in this whole island. Right?
Okay.
This whole island.
Yes,
and the Narrow-Water Bridge project has ticked all the boxes from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Cross community, cross two jurisdictions. It ticks the Good Friday Agreement box of bringing communities together, and there is a requirement to forge closer links in an area of outstanding natural beauty, which of course the Cooley Peninsula is now,
right.
The Louth area, and we have our own beautiful area right all the way down through to Downpatrick now.
Right.
And the East Coast. The other thing is, Bernard, we feel very strongly that in our area we're seriously disadvantaged.
Okay.
From a tourism point of view, there's been a tremendous increase in tourism in Northern Ireland, since the peace dividend, and most of it goes north coast from Anna Lake District, and now the Titanic in Belfast.
Okay.
It simply bypasses us.
Right.
And I think to some extent, and probably to a great extent, we're largely responsible for the failure of that ourselves, because as a community and as an area we haven't shouted loud enough,
right,
soon enough.
You mentioned, Dennis, ticking various boxes. You talk about the cross community, cross border. I can see that. it also brings in a strong European dimension, because the whole notion of Europe is to make connection, to improve infrastructure, to facilitate an ease of movement and travel. So it's very much, and also a big chunk of the money was European. Jim, exactly how much of European money was earmarked?
Well, there was 17 million euros given
Right.
to it. And it is a big European project, and you have to take that Louth County Council and Newry Council and what will be Louth County Council and the new Super Council have signed a memorandum of understanding. This is a key cornerstone to the memorandum of understanding that Europe would be very interested in, and I'm sure would be very willing to give money to.
One of the problems with the problem that arose with the bridge is that European money that was earmarked has gone back into a kind of can or a general pool and has been lost to some extent.
totally
So you'll have to make a new application for European money. When do you envisage doing that, and how and under which European programmes will you be applying?
Well, that can be done from the 1st of April next year. There's the new funding's opened up on the 2020, and it will have to be either of the two councils as a joint bid or the East Border region there. But we also have the backing of the Good Friday Agreement Committee, which the bridge is a major part of. So this is going to be a joint project with a number of bodies involved.
Okay.
Europe, Britain, ourselves in the north here and the south.
So, Dennis, you have realigned yourselves, your new community campaign, if I can call it that.
Yes.
And you will be making a fresh bid for European money in April.
Well, our position, Bernard, is to continue with lobbying and pushing forward with as much of an increased campaign as we can. As I say, under the last round of European funding, which we didn't get it across, was a serious disappointment. We actually delivered a petition of 3,600 names to the European office in Belfast, SEUPB office. And
Special European programme body.
Yes, exactly. And that's a huge amount of names,
Right.
which was collected over a very short term, really.
Okay.
And that's an indication of the depth of feeling and the demand for infrastructural improvements. The other thing is that if we get this bridge delivered, it's only going to be the start of increased tourism. It'll make it a lot easier. We feel that not only will it be an iconic bridge, because it'll be the first bridge of its kind in Europe. And
When you say first, what exactly do you mean by that?
well, it's a European initiative to
It'll be a road bridge and a
Yes.
footbridge.
Oh yes, and a cycle
And
bridge,
it'll have a special design features.
Yes.
It's a suspension bridge, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
Right, okay.
It's actually quite a nice looking structure.
I've
as
seen it.
well.
I've seen many pictures and
Yeah.
I've been mightily impressed by
Yeah,
it.
but it's what it would do for the area and to improve
Okay.
the infrastructure.
Okay. We've now entered into a period now of austerity locally.
Yeah.
The European money, European money is one factor in the equation, but as you have both said, you're applying for a new tranche of European support in April 2015. But by that stage, we're well into an era of local austerity. We can see that there's a little bit of political turbulence up in the local government. Well, I'm being diplomatic. But a line to that is local austerity and cutbacks. Will potential cutbacks impact on the potential for this bridge to be created?
I don't think so, because it is also, as well as tourism, is going to be an economic lifeline for everybody around the Carlingford Lough area. But you have to take about the iconic nature of this bridge, and we shouldn't forget the Good Friday Agreement, which our area, which is a border area, has got nothing from.
Right.
There is people saying, well, what use is this agreement? We have to show this agreement working.
Okay.
The Good Friday Agreement Committee has endorsed that, and they're pushing on our behalf. But the memorandum of understanding is that it's going to link two jurisdictions,
Okay.
which are a couple of hundred yards away from one another,
Of course.
and it's going to unite the people in a common
Okay.
bond that some of our politicians fail to do.
Okay, I'm interested to hear that you're not overly concerned about the cuts that are coming downstream, so to speak. That's an interesting point. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good point, Bernard. But in the overall dimension and scale of things, I mean, it's not an awful lot of money that would take. We've been led to believe, and we can't be totally accurate in this, but we've been led to believe that 40 million euro would deliver this project. You know, while it might sound a lot to some people, if we look at Belfast, how many footbridges and how many bridges, and yet another one going to be delivered are crossing the Lagan.
And the one up in Derry, Londonderry, yes.
and,
Huh?
and the large one in Londonderry, which to some extent has been hugely successful and is understandable why they needed that. Ours was every bit as important to the entire region. But I can't stress enough that it's the link and only the start of a greater degree of tourism that would emanate from it.
What I'm
You know,
hearing
that's-
from you, what you guys are saying, you've got a revived campaign, you've got all the right people on board. From what you were saying to me earlier, you've got a pretty much a consensual group of politicians, local and relevant politicians on board, working on this campaign with you. You're not overly worried about cutbacks. You have a clear picture on the European money, what you have to do, when you have to do it. So I presume you'll have that all the ducks in a row, and from which relevant programs. So I'm also hearing that you see it as really to bolster tourism, which you probably see as the main economic factor in this area.
It is the main economic
And can you
factor.
say a little bit more about that? What the attractions are?
Yeah, but first of all, you need to take this. We've been talking as from our community, from Down and Live, but this is a new gateway into the north. This bridge isn't
From where?
from the south.
Okay.
And it's not only going to help us locally in Down and South Armagh, it's going to go up as far north as Bangor, Belfast. It's a new gateway that hasn't been there.
For tourist traffic rather than heavy commercial traffic, would you say?
For tourists, yeah, but a bridge is a bridge, and a bridge links people. And this is all about linking people. And across Europe at the moment, the buzzword is building bridges.
Literally and metaphorically.
Metaphorically. And we are looking to build bridges for a better future for everyone.
Okay.
You know, there's nobody going to be disadvantaged or pulled out about this bridge being built in. This is a bridge for everyone that will help everyone, and in the years to come, people will see how successful it is.
Okay. Dennis, can you just allude a little bit to you have the Mournes,
Yes.
you have the Cooley Mountains, you have Slieve Gullion. There's a whole cluster of mountainous and
Yes.
environmental areas of an area of special environmental importance.
Yeah.
Siobhan Parr of the Slieve Gullion project was telling me about the geotourism and stuff like
Yes.
that. There's also there's been some talk about the Mournes becoming a national park.
Well-
so that's another subject,
Oh,
obviously.
yeah.
But there's a
Yeah.
cluster of mountains and special areas to be connected by this
Yes,
bridge.
well, I
It's
mean,
the linchpin for these
Yeah.
different.
As I say, tourism in Northern Ireland is principally North Coast. Our East Coast, while it's a totally different type of terrain, and it still has beautiful. It has a beautiful area. The Mourne Mountains are a very big part of it, as you can imagine. But it starts really as you come down to Narrowwater itself. It's beautifully set, and then you look down the loch. Now, I live along the seafront, and it is one of the most beautiful views that you can look out with the mountains on both sides, the Cooley Mountains, and then we have the Mourne Mountains and the Rostraver Hills. But there's quite a lot of opportunities now for people to walk and for bicycles and cycling in our whole area, and we've got the Narnia Trail as well. Money has been spent in that area by the council here and developing the significance of the Narnia Trail in Rostrevor. And then, of course, Mourne Mountains and all the way down to Downpatrick, which is the significance of St Patrick, which is hugely important. And those councils, Down District Council, our council, and the greater council areas and the new super council will be very supportive in trying to outreach this to the greater public.
Jim, you mentioned infrastructure. You emphasised the notion of infrastructure being important. Any extra infrastructure is good. What is the relationship of this bridge as a piece of infrastructure relating to other road schemes, like I've heard of the Southern Relief Scheme? What is the interaction relationship between this bridge and the other proposed infrastructure schemes in this broad area?
Well, they're basically two separate projects, one's not competing with the other.
It's not an either or situation, no?
Yeah, and never has been.
Okay.
But for the Narwater Bridge, if I just could go back a bit, between Greenore and up to the bridge, there has been a greenway built by Louth County Council that will go on to the bridge, and we have cycle, foot and vehicle transport on the bridge. And I know our Minister of the Environment, Minister Kennedy, is very much into cycling, so is ticking all his boxes that the greenway can then be expanded both ways towards Newry and towards Newcastle. But on an economic front, at the moment we have two business men waiting to build an hotel on either side of the bridge.
Yeah.
There's a 28-bedroom hotel in planning for One Point and a 75-bedroom hotel for Omeath.
Jim, you can tell me a little bit more about that after the break. We're going to take a short break now, but we'll be coming back after that to just find out a little bit more about this very exciting project. I'm Bernard Conlon, and I'm back again after a break with two gentlemen from the Warren Point area, Dennis Brady and Jim Boylan. We've had an interesting chat before the break there about this revived activity and energy surrounding the Narrow Bridge. And you tell me that you've created a whole new structure, the Narrow Bridge Community Network. This came round about the end of August. So, Jim and Dennis, can you just say a little bit about this new organisation that you've set up?
Well, it's still basically the same organisation. Is a different direction that we're heading on. We sort of knew that the way we were going wasn't doing much good, and we have reinvigorated ourselves. We're thinking of new opportunities, the opportunity that this bridge would create, and that's the way forward. Dennis will probably tell you a wee bit more about it.
Well,
give me the name again, Dennis. Repeat it once again.
I have no problem, because we do want to heighten the awareness of the name, and that is the Narrow Bridge Community Network. It's a very much better title than what we were previously working under, but as Jim has just said to you, it's basically the same people who are part of this grouping. We have known for some considerable time that with the failure of not getting it across the line last year and the disappointment as a result of that, we knew that we weren't going to stop working towards our goal, which is to get that delivered for the people and for the greater good of the community. But to do so, we knew we had to adopt a different route, and a different mechanism would need to be put into place. And we have employed the services of a marketing firm to do that. Now, I don't want to be dismissive, or I don't want to say too much, and I don't want to be glib either about where and what we're planning to do. But I can assure you that we're going to heighten the awareness of this, and it's going to be on a different scale altogether very soon.
Jim said just before the break, you talked about the potential of hotels and other things kind of springing from this bridge. It could be the platform and the stimulant for significant tourist activity. So this new network came at the end of August. It's regrouping all the energies. You're going to take a little bit of a break over the Christmas period, but Jim, come the new year, you guys are back in the field with revigorated energy.
Yeah, come back probably towards mid-February to the end of February. We will be coming back with a new campaign. The campaign hasn't stopped, but we'll be coming back with new ideas and new ways forward. But it is important to say that in these tough economic times, if you have the chance of a 26-bedroom hotel and a 75-bedroom hotel in Omeath, that is ample opportunity for this bridge to happen. This bridge is an investment. It's an investment, it's an icon, it is something that will unite the people, and it's something that we see will happen.
Okay. You said something fascinating to me, just as I say, again, when we were having a chat during the break. We're going through a pretty tough time on our local political scene, but you guys seem to have clustered the politicians into some kind of consensus group.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that, we have met a lot of politicians, both north and south of the border. We really have over the last number of years. And the goodwill has always seemed to be there if the money was there. Politicians can only deliver, they say, if they've got the money. Well, that money that went back to Europe and back into the pot was a disappointment. But we've got to forget about that. And we've got to get it really on the agenda that simply we're going to continue with this. We're simply not going to go away. We're going to continue looking to get this delivered. And you wouldn't believe the huge support that there is among the businesses and the people just to have this. It's
right.
I've been involved in many things in my lifetime, and I've never seen anything like the support and the want factor for this to be delivered.
What I'm getting from both of you is amazing energy. You're not talking like two people that are mourning the potential loss of a bridge. You actually seem to be in sort of celebration mood and re-energized mood, and it seems like early 2015 the focus on this is being renewed, but bringing a group of politicians together to act in coordination. That includes the East Border region and the councils north and south. You seem to be harmonising that kind of corporate tradition.
Just say to you, Bernard, if you want something bad enough as an individual in your own life, you keep going till you get it. If you're working for the community as an activist in terms of trying to deliver something for the greater good of the community, and you believe in it strongly and passionately, as Jim and I do, and as the other members of our steering group do, well, we know where we're going. That doesn't mean to say we'll get it across the line, but we'll continue until we really see the fruits of it.
Well, this area, Jim, I know this area. I was speaking to Siobhan Power recently, and we were talking about the heritage and the history and the mythology around Carlingford, Cuchulainn and the Tane and the Ulster Cycle and stuff like that. Who knows? There could be literary and cultural tourism. There's the Ross Trevor music tradition. Is this going to be a linchpin, do you think?
It is going to be a linchpin, and that's what we've been working on some time. That the myth and legends alone, take where the Narwater Bridge is going to be sited. There was 40 major incidents throughout the history of these islands happened at Narwater. So that's the linchpin. We have Finn McCool lying asleep on the mountain, and
he's going to get wakened, it sounds.
And he's going to be wakened, and he's going to come. We have the Clockmore Stone. We have so much to offer, even in Cooley, the brown and white bull of Cooley. We have that. That's what we're thinking of.
So will Queen Maeve be invited to the opening of the bridge?
Well, Queen Maeve will be invited. But you see, the problem is with the South Down is that it seemed to be left behind tourist-wise. Well, we heard of the Giant's Causeway and the Titanic Centre and the Peace Bridge in Derry. We heard about those. They have got those. Yet when we go and ask and when we go and look, it's not there. But I can tell you that it's more than just South Down. This is the whole of the north. Throughout the campaign, I was getting phone calls from Derry and Kerry, from all over, offering support for this bridge. This bridge is bigger than any one area or any one person.
So can I say, watch this space for the new year, because
Absolutely.
the road to building this bridge has been laid, and
Totally reinvigorated.
we're going to have a bridge across Carlingford before too long. Would that be right, gentlemen?
Well, we certainly hope so, Bernard.
It's been a real pleasure speaking to
Yeah,
you, and
thank you
I'm
very much.
looking forward to maybe coming back to see what happens with this bridge.
Oh, you'll be walking over.
Thank you very much indeed, gentlemen.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you very much for your time.